Welcome back to Decker's Nursery. I'm Conrad. I'm the owner of Decker's Nursery in Florida. So today I'm going to share some time with you from our perennial gardens. Right now the tables are filling up very quickly. The last cold snap is behind us, so we're not really worried about the cool evenings as much, doing damage to some of the new tender plants. So we've been talking a lot about vegetable gardening and growing your own food. Today I want to reach out to a lot of the gardeners that enjoy playing with flowers, in particular our perennials. Okay, so perennials, as a reminder, are the plants that come back year after year. These are very effective at enhancing your existing gardens. So it's very often that people come in and they're like, I'm not happy with our landscape. It just doesn't have enough color. I want color. And of course, you know, you always have the option of doing annual flowers and planters and things like that. But if you really enjoy gardening and you like getting into the soil and digging and planting and having the rewards of watching something grow and perform, perennials may be a great option for you. So in the early spring, like March, April, and even early May, there are certain plants that you should be using at that time of year, and that's going to be the focus of my talk today, to encourage you to extend the growing season. So usually on Long Island we enjoy the bulbs like the tulips and the daffodils that come up, but there aren't a lot of perennials until later in the season, and that's only because people don't use them enough. So these plants that I'm going to share with you today are a great opportunity to get some color into your landscape during the month of April, when everything looks drab and it's still a reminder that winter hasn't let go. So I'm hoping that you'll find time to get some of these into your garden. So I'm going to start with my favorite. This is a plant, I wait all year for it. I look forward to it every spring. We start bringing this in March. This is Aqualegia or Columbine. Columbine is a native plant on Long Island for the native plant enthusiast. This comes in a bunch of different colors. It doesn't like full sun. So we usually display the Aqualegia in our shade perennial area because it needs some protection during the course of the day. So if you have morning sun or an afternoon shade or vice versa, this is a really good plant to use, and it gives you pretty decent height to use in the garden and contrast some of the existing evergreens. Again, another native plant that's really popular at this time of year is the phlox, the woodland phlox. And this is a native plant, so it is a variety called Blue Moon. It's propagated for that pretty blue color. Usually the straight natives will have white flowers. And this is very easy to grow, very hardy. It usually gives you 4 to 6 weeks of bloom before it moves on to recharge for the following year. The one plant that's always very popular at this time of year and all the way through the month of May, people come in and they're like, what's that plant that I see? It's just a big pop of color in my neighbor's yard, or as I'm driving around I see these big brilliant colors and flowers, and that's creeping phlox. We know right away that's what the plant is, and we sell out of these every year. So I'm coming to everybody right now saying, listen, we are loaded up. We have a lot of the creeping phlox available. It comes in a host of colors, from blue, pinks, whites. We have candy stripe, and this plant is a low-growing, spreading perennial, so it helps to suppress weeds in your garden. So if you're always combating the weeds, this may be a good plant to get started in your perennial gardens, and it'll help to suppress the weeds, like I said. So they'll spread out. When the bloom is done, you have a very pretty texture, and the foliage is attractive in its own right, and it just kind of forms a green mat for the balance of the year. It's not uncommon to have bulbs come up through them so that you get that early color, and then, you know, a few weeks later the creeping phlox starts to perform. Another perennial, shade perennial that you, or I'm sorry, this is a sun perennial. This is Artemisia. This is grown for its for the color of its foliage. It's not really a showy flower, but you can see how it contrasts very nicely. The blue, the silver blue foliage is a real nice contrast in any garden. Going back to perennials, we just brought the Penstemon in, so this is a little early. This won't perform for, you know, several more weeks, but this is a favorite for native enthusiasts. It has a very tall, bright red cardinal-like flower, and it's very attractive to hummingbirds. So this is one of the real popular perennials throughout the late spring and summer months. Just a couple other of my favorites before I wrap it up. Veronica. Now this is blooming a little bit earlier. We got this, wait, this is going to start to bloom in our area now. It has the dainty little blue flowers, nice accent, works very well with the native phlox, and that could be a really nice, a powerful planting in any garden. Gallardia. So all of these really prefer to have sun. The Penstemon, the Veronica, you want to make sure that they're getting at least 5-6 hours of sunlight each day. Okay, Gallardia, another sun-loving perennial. We're able to get these in from southern parts of the states, and so they're in bloom south of us, but these will start performing in the month of May. These will bloom throughout the year. You can deadhead, cut the flowers back. They'll recharge and give you a couple of blooms through the spring and summer. Poppies are one of my favorites. I want to encourage you, if you enjoy perennial gardening, this is a favorite to bring in. If you have deer in your landscape, this is a plant that's pretty deer-proof. The thing that deers don't like, this has little, it's called pubescence, and it's just little hairs on the leaves, and that tends to suppress or repel the deer from browsing on them. Okay? And I'm going to wrap it up with Dianthus. Dianthus is an early spring perennial. It goes very well with the creeping phlox. It too has a nice foliage after it's done blooming, so it's a nice addition to any perennial garden. So these are some of the early plants. They're available now at Decker's Nursery. If you have questions, you know, we're more than happy to help you with your selections. But what we're trying to get you to look at is more of a broader scope into your garden. And these plants are going to help you extend the rotation of color throughout the spring and summer, and hopefully get you active in the garden a little bit earlier. So anyway, I hope this is helpful. I hope we'll see you at Decker's, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the garden.